Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds of Legend. This week, apologies, I forgot to let people know that we were going to be doing a Tuesday instead of a Monday stream. This week, we will be talking about the book The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles. I love the alliteration there. Just a little reminder for other events, other streams this week. On Wednesday, we will be continuing our delve through Candlekeep Mysteries, and on Saturday, we will have our special collaboration with Original GM, where we will be playing Call of Cthulhu and playing through the module The Dare, led by the Keeper, Brian Ballard. With all that said, we will be... Let's get started. Brendan, since this is your book, would you like to do a little bit of a, sort of summary of the plot, or...
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, you were saying, Joel?
Oh, just don't forget, we will be discussing this book in detail. So if you haven't read it, you don't like spoilers, turn it off.
Yeah. Go read the book and then come back, because...
we have no intention of hiding any information. We will talk about what we want in this book ad nauseum.
Literally, we're going to start with saying exactly what happened in the book. Just like Cliff Notes version. So
the thing that I would preface as I talk about this book is Patrick Rothfuss wrote it as I believe as he was getting his master's in English. That might be wrong, but he was in school at the time as he was writing this, and he presented it as a challenge to himself to write fantasy in a way that was different to what he was used to. It's very evident as you read the book that it's told in perspectives. It's told in ways that were new to me. I think that's why there was such a buzz when it first came out in 2007.
So you're saying he's trying to avoid emulating Tolkien or Sanderson or all the other fantasy greats, or
he certainly does. I don't know if his aim was to avoid tropes or just to try something new, but it certainly is there's nothing like it that I've read in terms of fantasy.
See, it definitely had a lot of similar bones as a lot of the fantasy stories. I don't think you could get away from it. You always have to have the one protagonist who's I've got something that everybody else doesn't have, because nobody's going to follow the school loser. But
he's very much a protagonist, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it is definitely very interesting. Kvothe is, I don't know, he's a character you love and want to choke the shit out of at the exact same time.
Let's briefly tell the audience what the heck is even going on with the story, because we haven't even gotten there yet.
Before we get into that,
I do. It's such a massive story. Now, first off, do not pick this book if you do not have a lot of time.
Yeah,
it was 2 weeks with a newborn, and it's 29 hours or some shit. Audiobook.
I would describe it as a slog, but I enjoyed every fucking minute of it.
It's very much a yarn. It's a yarn.
It is very much oh my god, is it fucking over yet? But I
literally,
I loved every minute
every session was
but
okay,
you feel
man, this kid's life sucked.
Yeah. Oh.
For those at home, Kvothe is the aforementioned Kingkiller. He is a
You don't know that. It never said it directly in the story. He didn't kill any kings yet.
That is the title.
Wow, look at us. We're arguing. We haven't even gotten to what the story's even about. The Wikipedia says he is the aforementioned Kingkiller. Kvothe is he's a skilled musician. He's a storyteller. He's a magician. He's alliterated to have killed a king. And the thing with this book, Ben mentions it kind of meanders. The first three chapters,
but it meanders perfectly in the way of as it's told to the age of the character.
Yes. The story is presented to you sort of in a palatable way based on those who are observing it, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So the protagonist Kvothe, the first book is more or less a swerve into his biography. So the first 3 chapters, he's actually under an assumed name. We are spoiling. I believe it's Kvothe. Yeah, Kvothe. He's under assumed name.
His name's Kvothe, and they're like, Goat.
Yeah. It's kind of like, is it the 7 Deadly Sins, the anime, where the protagonist...
Yeah, he's Meliodas.
Yeah.
100% Meliodas.
Yeah, the protagonist is just running an inn, but he's secretly very powerful and skilled.
Oh my God, that's what it was. He wrote the Patrick Rothfuss for 7 Deadly Sins.
No, but Meliodas didn't even change his name. He didn't bother.
That's true. He didn't even bother to change his name.
But it's just, everyone else had just always seen him in his
Yeah, but there's a character named Deanne that's super hot. I'm just saying, well, we solved it. You guys have a good day. Kingkiller, it's the 7 Deadly Sins. Have a good day.
Yeah. This podcast is an intersection of anime and comics and books. There's too much nerd here to unpack.
Too much nerd here to unpack.
Yeah, Kvothe's masquerading as Kvothe. He's an innkeeper in a very quiet, very middle of nowhere town. I think that's by design. And he's there with his protege, Bast, and he's basically trying to lie low. It's insinuated that he's a shadow of the glory that the levels, the heights of fame and power and prestige and everything that he has, it's been whispered that he's had, are basically a shadow of the past. And he's sort of not a has-been, but he's like in a self-imposed exile. You don't even know this for the first 3 chapters. You are learning stories and tales told by the locals and some young 18-year-old drunks.
You can tell the book's about this innkeeper guy, but he doesn't do anything interesting for the first 3 chapters. And then all of a sudden, this guy shows up from out of town and he's like, "I know who you are," and he's like.
You're a big deal, and and there's insinuations of demons, of otherworldly things, a particular razor-legged spider construct that's absolutely terrifying to think about.
That has no genitals of any kind, which apparently was a big thing.
Yeah.
No.
It had no mouth or reproductive system, or
it's literally just a body with razor-sharp legs.
Yeah, they're like, this is monstrous.
There's all sorts of scary stuff in this world. It's vaguely sort of based on, it's sort of like medieval Europe. There's 4 nations. There's a pseudo-Christian kind of monotheistic kind of religion in place. It's sort of intentionally not fleshed out. It's sort of like the story is written in a way that you learn about the world and its surroundings through hearsay. You learn, it's very much show and not tell. It's iceberg method, right? You learn about the world more or less in the first 3 chapters, at least through dialogue.
Well, I think it's fairly clear that you're in a medieval setting where most people don't even know their letters.
By word of mouth, they don't get salt or chalk.
All the stories that are told are basically it's still almost like an oral tradition, told by the oldest guy that knows the story, can tell the story the best, Yep.
There's a token old dude who's like, "Will you let me finish my story or not?"
It's am I telling it or you?
I'm not going to step in with the old man voice. He's the king.
What I love is that in that story where they actually get to that point is you've already heard the entire story, and so you hear.
Oh,
that was so great. We're he's like, "That's not right." You're just like, "I have just spent 26 hours listening to this story." None of that shit you just said happened.
Well, so yeah, we keep stepping on Brendan's retelling of what.
No, I love it. I love it.
Tell it faster so we can get to bickering about the book.
I love that part of the book because it's just it's almost it's you get to the end. It's you watch a sports game.
Sports ball.
And you get to the end of the game, and then the announcers are showing the highlights at the end of the game, but putting their own spin on it, and you're like, "Oh, that's not how it happened. What the fuck?" Or it's you meet your buddies after a fucking drinking binge the night before, and you wake up the next morning and you're like, "So this is what Ben did last night." And you're like, "No, that's not how it happened."
It's only Ben.
didn't come out until 3 drinks in.
This book felt to me like a fantasy pulp fiction.
Yeah.
It's like the esteemed story of Kvothe. It was almost like a different entity from Kvothe the person. It's sort of like a celebrity probably is just, very different than how they appear in public. Mm-hmm. Their personal life is probably very different than a constructed social image.
Yeah.
And Kvothe has to sort of deal with his own fame, outshadowing an individual who, in the first book, this is the first of a proposed trilogy, he very much just wants to be left alone, or at least acts like it initially.
Let me read my books. Leave me alone. Don't be a dick to girls in front of me. It's pretty much.
Yeah.
My friends.
See, that is not the impression I got of him once he got to the. Maybe before, but once he got to the Arcanum and the university,
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's a flashback. It's his origin.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like in Pulp Fiction. Like you learn about the watch, and you learn about how he was supposed to throw the fight, and it's Ovidian. It's not chronological. It jumps to his past. Yeah, Joel.
Yeah, but we're just to give the synopsis of the story, like it just. Brief jump, because we're all digressing super hard. So if you don't mind, I'll distill this down in about a paragraph.
Okay. Hit it.
Then we could get to just dithering about it. It starts out with Kvothe, who is an Evan Rue, which is traveling. He's a gypsy. Traveling entertainer. Yeah, they're essentially their Ramani.
Yeah.
But they're one of the few heavily respected ones. His parents taught him music. They taught him theater. They taught him how to read a crowd. Then he got, then there was a tinkerer, which is what they called a specific type of arcanist, who taught them how to do what they call sympathy, which is their form of magic, sympathy, sigildry, and a bunch of other shit. Kvothe is very intelligent, picked all of this shit up. Then his entire troop gets killed, and he finds himself pretty much destitute.
No. By the boogeyman.
Yeah. By the boogeyman that doesn't exist. He doesn't know.
The big bad evil guys.
But he doesn't know the boogeyman is called the Chandrian. He doesn't know that everybody thinks they don't exist. So he's running around saying, I want to find the Chandrian. And they're like, that's dumb. So.
Also, you're not supposed to talk about that.
You're not supposed to talk about it. They're super scary.
Yeah.
But
super scary.
The night his parents are killed, he comes in, falls asleep in their tent, in their trailer home, doesn't blow out the candles, burns the whole thing down, gets his dad's loot, runs out, finds a farmer. Farmer takes him to a town where he immediately gets mugged because he doesn't know shit about anything. And spends 3 years homeless and is able to con his way into getting to the university. Gets to the university, is like, hey, I'm broke. I need admission. You're going to pay me for it. They're like, fuck you. All right, we'll give it a go. He gets in there and immediately causes problems. Day one.
Yep.
Upsets the teacher. Yeah, like first class, upsets the teacher. Then is like, put a demonstration on in his infinite brilliance. Does a binding, burns the teacher, whipped in front of everybody, carries a candle into the archives, banned from the archives, which is his only goal to go to there is to get into the archives. The child, and that's pretty much a pattern that goes on in a circular way. He does something incredible, something incredibly stupid right after that. And I think he has a love interest, kind of a girl he met on the road named Denna, who she seems to be wired the same way as he is. And he goes through all kinds of stupidity to impress her. And then they kill a tree dragon. That's pretty much
the
boiled down to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. The thing that's really impressive with me is Kvothe is brilliant. Okay? He has an eidetic memory. He remembers everything he sees, he reads. Common sense, though, is a little lacking. He is definitely a min-maxed wizard in Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, the crazy thing for me is, like, he managed to survive, like, on the streets for 3 years, and yet manages to not pick up any kind of street smarts of how
None.
Like, that's the whole thing. Is like, there's like, I feel like doing that as an orphan is like gonna like level up your fucking wisdom modifier a little bit.
I've got a plus 31 to wisdom. Yeah, you should.
I appreciate Joel being here because the book, I wish, like, no, I don't wish. I'm glad it was written the way it was, but it's certainly difficult to convey because the book is not nearly that direct.
Right.
The book is told from Kvothe is already famous. He has an assumed name, Kvothe. Doesn't want anyone to bother him.
Yeah,
that's the beginning of the. That's the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
He's recognized, and then his story develops. His origin story is like in the middle of the book. Yeah, go ahead.
What really makes this very unique is Kvothe at the time of telling the story to Chronicler, which I really love the name because when it's like Chronicler, you're like, oh, I know what we're doing. Chronicler is coming to talk to Kvothe, and Kote's only about 25.
He's a young dude.
Legendary thing.
He's a young legendary guy.
Is what's so fun about Kvothe is he's accepted in the Arcanum at 15, which is nobody does it except for one guy who's batshit crazy. And I'm going to keep reading this series just to see where Master, I think it's Erlian or Ireland or whatever the hell his name is. The namer, who knows the names of things, who's like
doesn't give a shit about Kvothe until he actually names anything.
Yeah,
he's basically like that professor at college that like he doesn't have anything to do with the freshmen. He had to get through the weed out classes before he like will fucking talk to you.
Well, he had to lose his temper and call the name of the wind. He's like, "Hey, see what you did there? You fucked him up with the wind."
So for those at home, the name of the book, The Name of the Wind, is in reference to the story that the old man tells at the beginning in the pub about an ancient powerful wizard who knows the secret name of the element of wind and can command it to his bidding.
He knows the name of everything.
He knows the name of everything, so he can just say the secret word that binds the wind to his will. And
also the name of rock. So he knows
the name of rock. Yeah, so that's how powerful this wizard is in this story.
Yeah.
But remember, Abernathy called the wind. And that was where Kvothe at like 11 was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to the wind. That's pretty great.
So by the time the book advances to Kvothe's origin story, just to clarify, he basically goes to study and learn after being motivated by the traumatic loss of his actual family and their traveling family. The Chandrian butchering them all motivates him to go and learn and figure out how to invoke these powers, and it's a Batman moment, really.
Yeah, it really is. And the Chandrian are a great villain because like you don't know shit about them. And I finished the book. I'm like half an hour away from the ending of the audiobook, and unless there's a massive info dump in the last like chapter, you don't know shit about the Chandrian at the end of it. You just know that like there's 7 of them, and
you figure out they were there.
Yeah, you know they're there, but like you don't know why they do what they do. You're starting to pick up that they like get rid of anybody who says anything about them.
Yeah.
Then that's their motivation.
They're basically they're like some sort of like shadow organization that's like also like paranormal.
Patrick Rothfuss is a genius at knowing what to give you and what to hold from you.
Yeah.
That's the only way he got us through 28 chapters of audiobook. Yeah. It's like he gives you just like, oh my gosh, what's this? And just feeds you information organically, either through Abernathy, through his peers at Magic High School, through his really popular. The Chandrian are dangerous, but we know just enough about them. I know there's plenty we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think is interesting to like, because a lot of times you read like a fantasy book like this, and the reason you keep like reading it and binging it, like even if it's like this long, is because it's like there's a cliffhanger like at the end of every chapter. But this book, it wasn't like that. It wasn't a cliffhanger. It was just like I got like it was like you get to the end of the chapter and it was like something was revealed and you're like, I need to know more. Like I like wanted to know more information about the world. It was like it's Rico.
It's Rico and Starship Troopers. Desire to know more increases.
Right. It's like there's no. It's not like this. Like a lot of times you read one of these books and it's just like cliffhanger, 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 cliffhanger. And it's like it's exhausting. But this, it's just like it just gives me just enough information that I'm like, but there's got to be more to that.
Organic.
Yeah.
It's very organic.
It was very well done, I think. I feel that the way my frustration with the story was not how it was delivered. My frustration with the story was the immaturity of both. Like, you're like, come on!
But he's 15.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, as a parent with teens right now, I look at them half the day and I'm like, come on!
That's what I love so much about the character, though, and that's why I said it was similar to Pulp Fiction, where you have like Vincent Vega is this
I remember the
astounding badass assassin, and then he ends up dying in the toilet, and and they accidentally shoot Marvin. It's like your expectations of the events in Pulp Fiction are undermined by often darkly humorous reality. Mm-hmm. The characters are limited by their frailties. Like Vincent Vega is afraid of like what's going to happen with Marcellus Wallace's wife. Like we're at her place. It was a fun date. I don't want to do anything, and then he spends the rest of the night trying to resuscitate her from snorting heroin. So it's like reality and then expectations and then reality. And Kvothe has all these expectations of his fame, and then the reality is he's profoundly human. He has no street smarts. And it's told in a non-chronological way as well.
Well, I found it to be very chronological. I found like in the listening to it of him recanting his story, it did run in a linear fashion. The thing that got me was, as Ben said, he doesn't have a lot of street smarts. And so this supremely talented kid, which honestly you think you would have a little bit better of a survival instinct living 3 years. I mean, he got the shit kicked out of him like every 15 minutes, it sounded like. What was the name of that big city? Like
no, I can't think of it right now. Doesn't matter.
But he got his ass kicked regularly. And he had to stay on Waterside, but he'd go to Hillside, and he got beat half to death.
Yeah.
And then he gets to the school, gets in front of the masters, and then immediately is
Mouths off.
Right away. Like, you give me money, I'll be the best student you've ever seen. By the way, fuck you. And
Tarbian is the big city. By the way.
Tarbian.
Yeah. He starts in Navarre, which is like nowhere, and then Tarbian's the big city when they go do the flashback.
And he is, to me, he lacks that survival instinct. And then he goes and he sees Ambrose, who everybody's like, don't fuck with him. He has money to burn. No. He will make your life miserable because he is.
He didn't get told not to fuck with him until after Ambrose had already essentially like ruined his like main goal.
Not. But the thing being is he still went after him. They're like even after he was warned.
No, he didn't go after him though.
Survival instinct. That's what doesn't get me. That's what gets me is he has.
But
the guy's like,
he didn't go after him. He said, I have no beef with him, but if he comes after me, I will fuck his shit up. Because, that's, in the end, like, that's what you do on the street. Like, because like,
I didn't look at it that way.
Living from, like, off of his, like, street thing where it's like, if someone comes and fucks with you, you go and fuck them right back up.
Like when he went to Mike's house.
Yeah.
When he went to that kid that broke his father's loot and burned all of his shit.
Burn him to death. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're right. He does. To me, it just looks like when he gets to the point of.
But he beats the shit out of him, stops.
Yeah. He doesn't have. I still don't think he has like a very well-defined.
Oh, no, he's like he's a bit of a sociopath.
If you think about it though, he was essentially was born out of traumatic experience without a healthy childhood and has competence and no authority.
So he had a very healthy childhood. He had his adolescence sucked ass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would have been if not for a hugely traumatic event.
Yeah. Generally the slaughter of everybody you've ever known.
Right. So he's
while you're playing with sticks.
Yeah. So he's profoundly traumatized, in adolescence, and
Right.
then he's homeless, and then he goes to Magic High School, finds out that that's the other thing though, is it's not Magic High School because he's profoundly young for as skilled as he is.
Magic University.
Magic University.
Yeah,
Prodigy.
Magic College. Duh.
He's Doogie Howser, and and he's exceptionally skilled, but
He's socially awkward.
Yeah, his most formative years are, he was not exactly with good authority figures or socializing in a healthy way, and that
if somebody like took a fry off your plate, that you beat them half to death for it.
Well, that's in adolescence.
Yeah.
Like he also was taught how to pick a mark at like the age of 5. So how to con properly, and that your juice box and then go con the nobleman.
And that bites him in the ass. That bites him in the ass when he thinks he can impose his street will on others. They're like, Ambrose is like, that's not how it works here, and he learns that very quickly. So I do think there's a parallel between Ambrose and him, though. Is Ambrose gets everything he wants because Daddy's got money to burn, and he's super powerful, and Kvothe is like, well, I can do just about everything. So that is how it works. Because even when he fucks up, he still somehow succeeds. Like, ability alone.
Every time he gets punished, he still like gets like wins in the end because he's like, oh, like the first time he fucks up, he got
into the Arcanum.
He gets 3 lashes, but at the same time, he's like, didn't I prove that I'm worthy of being in the Arcanum? If I'm have powerful enough of abilities with sympathy that I'm able to burn a master's foot, it's like, I deserve to be in the Arcanum.
And then the second time where he gets accused of malfeasance, and they're like, we're gonna kick you out. And then Master Loden is like, how about no? And they're like, that's a good argument. Okay, promote this little bastard.
Like basically he got promoted to grad student. He went from being like, he goes from being a freshman in college, proves that he's a sophomore,
and had Ambrose.
Goes 3 another 3 months pass, and then he in the process of assaulting another student, proves that he's worthy of being in grad school. Actually,
right. What's also really funny is in his attempt to create stuff for which I really really like Kvothe, the artifice teacher. I loved him.
This guy, this child has spark in him.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved the way he talked, and I love the fact that Kvothe's fucking senior seminar project is, I've made you a lamp for thieves. And he's like, this is very well done. Also is bullshit.
Also, I can't sell this, so you suck.
He's like,
so you fail.
But you don't fail because it's really well done. And it's like his profound lack of judgment was that's what keeps me coming back. Like if he was just this magic kid that woke up and he's like, I can do sympathy better than anyone, was great. But when he kept fucking up and his decisions were so shitty, you're like, what is he gonna do next? Like when he went to get his talent pipes,
he's like one of
you knew he was gonna get him, right? Like you knew he was gonna get him. You knew he was going to be kind of prepared and just hope dumb luck gets it, which it did. And then
because it was still through skill.
Yeah, his bumbling through was always amazing. It was always like, how's he going to get through this again?
Yeah.
But I mean, if he was just a perfect, character, what are they, Gary Stews? If he was just that flawless character, I wouldn't want to read it. I'd be like, this is boring. Because when it started, the lead up did make you think that's what it's going to be. He's going to be this character who wakes up in the morning and sneezes and, oh, now I'm an archmage. And you're like, oh, this is dumb. I liked the evolution, the fact that he has a lot of talent, a lot of raw ability, but it's just does not have that common sense factor. I mean, even for somebody who Ben highlights a great point. He has a really good, survival mechanism, but that survival mechanism only seems to work in a horrible environment.
Yeah.
Like you put him in a place with rules and structure, he's like, I'm just gonna crash and burn. Because his knee-jerk reaction is burn everything down.
Yeah.
Which is a very much survive on the streets mentality.
Yeah. I think it's like I think that's the other interesting thing about the method that the story is told through. So it's like it's basically a man recounting his like life story.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of times you would consider that an unreliable narrator. And like you hear him talking about his exploits through childhood. It's like, oh yeah, right, like you did that. But then at the end of the book, you hear these guys talking in the bar about the story of Kvothe. And it's like, and you hear how like more 30 billion times more ridiculous it was than like, what actually happened. Like
like where he convinced the Arcana to give him a diamond as big as his fist at the end.
Yeah,
went to the Arcana, they gave him a giant diamond.
And then like the blacksmith kid is like, well, then what happened to the diamond then? How'd he run out of money by the end of by the end of 3 months? And he's like, well, obviously he just gave it away to people because he's that generous, you know? Yeah. like you find like during the story, you're like, oh, it's because he struggled throughout his entire time, just like trying to like rub 2 pennies together, or like the time he was like attacked by thugs hired by Ambrose and like in a dark alley at like while he was drunk at like 12 o'clock at night, and and then he like basically like out of luck had some materials in his pocket to make a flashbang. And then which I assume is just like magnesium by the sound of it, and like cause these like one guy to like be knocked unconscious and the other one to be like struck blind for like over a day. And then he goes and tells his like loan shark friend, loan shark / friend, that he's like
loan friend, yeah,
friend,
that he not only is like he's like I'll kill the next person that came by. He's like I'm not the type that like to spread those types of rumors. He's like they weren't trying to mug me, they were trying to kill me. They're lucky they lived this time. And she's like, all right. And she's
That's
like,
how we're doing
I'll
it, huh?
spread the rumors around. And then it becomes like this thing where like they like confronted him at high noon in the central town square. And like he like called the name of lightning down upon them and struck them blind and killed them both, burnt them to cinders.
I love that shit though. Like
that's why I think that's like what's endearing about the Kvothe character, is because it's like you can tell he's like I want you to write down exactly what fucking happened. Because, you know, like, sometimes you tell a story about yourself and you add in, like, a little bit of details just, like, make yourself look a little better. You just sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on there.
No,
like,
Kvothe did not do that.
But he like, told it exactly how it happened, even the parts that make him look like an idiot, even the parts that make him look stupid, even the parts that make him look like a selfish asshole. He puts it all in.
I love the cluelessness with, like Fella, the one he saved from the fire. Mm-hmm. Because I got to the part where she opens the door essentially naked, and they're like, she's been talking about you constantly. She's been talking about how great you are. She's super interested in you.
And then she's like, come in.
She opens the door naked. Like, you know, but it's just.
And she's basically like throwing herself at him. Like,
he does no bravado. So fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, and that also made it more endearing, because when you get the story where the guy's like, guess how I fucked up this time? You're like, all right, I'm going to sit and hear this part. Because if it's just like another story about like how much of a badass he is, like, you hate those stories. Everybody knows that guy who, like, every minute of their life was just this, like, it was like Conan the Barbarian. He just single-handedly, like, manliest man ever. Even when he takes a shit, his shits have beards.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is boring. I don't want to hear your over-the-top bullshit. But to hear some, like, failures, and it's funny, I was explaining this to my children as we were playing D&D, because I caught my youngest one lying on his rolls. Everything was a 17, 18, 19 that he was doing, and he's like, well...
He was cooking the dice?
Yeah.
Oh,
but he's like
God.
9. And he's like, well, I want to be able to win. I want to win. And I'm like, but the story's told in the failures. No. The story is told where you make mistakes. That's where the story, that's where you relate to the character.
It's like last week. It's like last week, like when you were trying to buy a horse and carriage and tried to like put a spell on the fucking poor like stable keeper.
I loved that. That was awesome.
And instead,
and,
like, you tried to like roll
person,
you tried to cast command person.
Well, because that's how I thought
shopkeep. And he goes, and the guy's like, "Did you just fucking try to cast a?" Like the guy shoved, like, you know, I rolled really good. I rolled like a fucking 18. Yeah. And he's like, "Did you just try to cast a spell on me, boy?"
Yeah, because the whole point of it is that made it so fun is the lack of understanding. My character's very intelligent, but doesn't understand nuance. Like, how do you haggle? Well, I want him to pay 50 gold. I wasn't trying to screw him. My character was like, I want to pay. I can afford 50 gold. So I'm going to be like, what's the best way to get there? Command person. Yeah. 50 gold, good enough. As opposed to me being like, how about 50 gold? I can't afford the rest. But he didn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you can open a door with a sledgehammer. Yeah. You know, you can open a locked door with a sledgehammer.
You could, yeah.
Or a key, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing that's kind of great is the story is always he failed constant. And he was set up as such a talented character to see him fail regularly.
Yeah.
Just due to just general naivete was great. Also, I mean, like, I don't know if Ben identifies with, but during the time that when I met Ben, when we both sold Aflac, we had no money. And the part where he's like scamming one, you know, just to get $2 to pay the next bill, I was like, oh, super identify with that. I was like, oh, I feel you. And then when he lost his apartment, he got that super sweet patron, and then he lost the apartment. You're like, oh, that hurts. It hurts so bad right here.
Yeah, he had like this he was living in luxury because he had to like work 2 nights a week, and he got like all his meals paid for, and he got like room and like got to like just sleep in this like amazing inn like every night, and all he had to do was play for like 2 nights a week because he's that good.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
but again, that was talent mixed with luck that he got it, because if Denna hadn't been there, he would have been fucked. He literally takes these broad strokes chances that some work, some don't. But to get his pipes, he needed a woman to be there that knew this other part of this ballad, and he's like, I'm gonna give it a go. But go ahead.
That's like the other interesting thing about which we haven't really touched on is that little like romance between Denna and Kvothe. Is it's like she's kind of like a mirror to him in terms of like how she lives her life. Like she's also a bit of a wanderer. She's like kind of like living like paycheck to paycheck, so to speak, or like boy toy to boy toy. And she the whole time it's like he searches for her and searches for her and searches for her, and as soon as he gives up, she shows up again. Like often at his like lowest point. And I think that's sort of like this. It's interesting how like this girl who like at the same time just like sort of disappears like a thief in the night, so to speak, every time he like thinks he's like, I finally found you. He like happens to run into her like over and over and over again, like when he's like at his lowest. And I think that's an interesting thing. But
she's an enigma. Like Denna is very enigmatic, and the fact that you don't really know how they feel.
Yeah. Like, well, you know how Kvothe feels.
Well, yeah, because he's
but like you can't figure out like it seems like she's very like cares for him and seems like because like she goes like she does all this stuff with him every time she runs in. Like she basically every time she runs into him, she drops everything she's doing, and like except for the very end of the book. But, like, she drops everything she's doing and just, like, goes and hangs out with him for, like, 8 hours. Or, you know, like, they talk until 6 in the morning. And
yeah. But he's very... It is. But then on a different note, it's like he has a very soft heart for the disenfranchised. Like, Ari, I'd love... I'm gonna keep reading the series because I want to know what happens with Ari. You know, that little girl that... it looks like sympathy broke.
She's not a little girl. She's like 20. Or like
I meant physically little. That tiny waifish girl that.
No, but she's like 18 years old. She's like a girl that got like she's you know when the
when they go crazy with naming.
The naming professor, like he's like, oh, this is what happens when you like go crazy off of too much, like learning too much arcanum too fast.
So
you go nuts. She went nuts, and she didn't get caught, but she, like, just disappeared into the tunnels beneath the school.
Yeah, I just got to that point. Now I'm like, I'll just skip the stream today. Keep reading this. But,
it was when I was reading The Witcher, and they, and I forget the place where Yennefer learns her magic, and when they find that people are powerful, but they can't control it, they turn them into eels that power the school. I remember being like, that's so unfair. Like, what if they're just not good enough? What they have. This is completely different. It's like, oh, you wanted to learn all this? This is what happens. Mm-hmm. It's like you've gone nuts. Mm-hmm. Well, that's on you. This seemed a lot more like, oh, well, that's hubris, you know?
Yeah. It's like it's basically like an Icarus situation. He flew too close to the sun, you know?
Yeah. I also love those where
sorry.
What?
I just thought of like when he tried to. So you have to, in order to enter into the Arcanum, you have to find someone who's willing to like mentor you, one of the masters, or sponsor you, and so he tries to go to the guy who's like in charge of naming, who like doesn't teach any classes. You only see him just like wandering around the school, and he like everyone else is like, oh my gosh, that guy's a fucking nutcase. You find out he is in fact a nutcase. So he like goes like walking with Kvothe, and he's like takes him on this journey, shows him like the asylum where they keep all the people that go insane from learning too much magic too fast. And then at the end he's like, all right, you want to learn the name of the wind? Jump off this building. And Kvothe's like, oh, this is a test to see how willing I am to like trust him. And then
oh my god, that was
throws himself from the building.
Fucking the best
and,
thing.
Like, he basically walks off the building and turns around and like middle fingers as he like drops.
That mental journey was fantastic.
And then he just sees like the professor's jaw like.
Yeah, like in his mind, he's like, I showed him the level of dedication that I'm willing. Like it was like almost an anime scene. We're
like laying there,
he's
like
jumping off, and he's like, now he'll know how serious I am. And then the professor was like, I'll never teach you shit. You're fucking dumb. Like,
he basically like Kvothe's like on the ground, like, and he's like
backwards arm, like, oh.
And then you just see like in my mind, it's like you said, it's an anime moment, and he like you just view him like leaning into frame, like in like Kvothe's vision, and he's like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. What the fuck were you thinking? I'm never teaching you.
I almost choked. I laughed my ass so hard with that because he was in his head. You thought he would have been like, the dedication you had was unbelievable. And then he's just like, you're the dumbest student I've ever seen. And I'm like, I love it.
He's like, that was amazing, but also you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah, he also might have thought that he would have, like, once he did it, he would have saved him. But he's like...
He did! He flat out said that! He's like, flat out said he expected he was...
Yeah, he's like, I thought you were going to help me! He's like, no.
I never said that. You're stupid.
I wanted to see how stupid you are. And I was right.
You're the dumbest. Like, that was the best, where he just sits there and he's like, you're the dumbest student I've ever seen. Like, oh my God, I fucking loved it.
basically like he doesn't give a crap about the students until like they reach grad school.
As soon as he knows they have some talent. Yeah. I had a pre-calc teacher like that in high school.
Yeah.
His name was Mr. Pitts. I got an A on my trigonometry test. I'm like, oh, I got an A. He's like, it's the easiest subject. I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to, and then, fuck. I also liked how he wasn't, like, even though he, like, grew up in this sort of, like, his adolescent years and where he, like, basically learned no social skills whatsoever, he had friends. Like, he wasn't, like, I mean, he was a dick to them sometimes and didn't tell them when he was gonna, like, disappear for weeks at a time, but, like, he still had, like, a lot of times, like, this type of guy who's, like, this amazing prodigy, like, super genius, like, badass, they're just, like, this lone wolf that, like, no one's good enough to hang out with me. But he basically, like, hung out with all, like, the school rejects. Like, he hung out with, like, he hung out with the old man that's basically, like, stayed as a freshman for, like, his entire time. He just likes learning about magic.
Yeah.
And then, like,
he also, I feel like the responsibility of, like, what you have to do hits once you become, what is it?
Yeah, so, like, it
Elodin? Wait, is that the first rank? Elodin?
No, so the first rank is, I can't remember.
I can't remember there. I just thought of it as, like, white belt.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
like,
He's like, I'm just never
He's a white belt. Yeah.
Ilir.
Yeah, Ilir Kvothe. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to be in Ilir forever.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to pay, like, way more money for, like, it's like, I know where my worth's at. I'm going to stay here and just, like, eat the shitty food and just get to work on the magic that I want to work on.
Yeah. I thought it was I mean, the characters he did, you could tell he wrote this shit in grad school.
Yeah.
Because we all know these people. You all know that one. You all know that one dude.
That's permanently in an undergrad.
Yeah.
He just has like enough money that he can just like permanently be like I knew me and Brendan, we knew a guy in college that like he was on his like what 5th bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Like he just like because he had a trust fund and it was like the way the trust fund was worded was as long as he was in school he'd continue to like get given money, and he's like, well, this trust fund will keep me like set for life. I have no reason to like ever leave school.
Correct. That was awesome.
He was Gary Oak. He wanted to have 8 badges in Kanto.
Yeah. So he had a degree in like math, physics, chemistry, like 3 engineering degrees. It was like
my professor, Professor McGinn, rest in peace. My senior year, I was taking kinesiology and I was leaving the gymnasium, and he was walking in because he was taking the class. Just in a different section.
Wasn't he taking anatomy or something?
Yeah,
just like randomly.
Yeah, so he was taking kinesio, and then he was taking anatomy and physiology, and I was like,
I would do that if I taught school. I would have 100 degrees.
I didn't realize that professors could just go around and take other courses.
Like you can just.
I would do that. That's how Missy got one of her degrees, because she worked at DePaul. So they gave it. She got another degree because she was able to, because she worked there, not pay tuition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm gonna go work at a college now and get 5,000 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so much better. I had taken EMAG with him and had survived with a B, and then 2 years later I see him. I felt so much better and so vindicated when he goes, the way they cover coordinates in anatomy is stupid. I'm like, yes it is. We're taught for years XYZ, Cartesian coordinate plane, and in anatomy it's frontal, sagittal, median. It's, they just have names for everything. They don't use XYZ, and he's like, that's so stupid. I'm like, yes.
You're gonna have to tone down the nerdiness.
Tone it
down.
Yeah, but yeah. So like, I enjoyed how like a lot of times like you have this hero like gets all the superpowers, and he has friends for once, and they're all like but they're all willing to. They're not like his lackey friends. They're all like, "You're a fucking moron."
Don't ever do that again.
Everybody might have said you're smart and pretty, but we think you're an idiot. You know,
the best friends, the closest friends, the people that care about you the most, tell you the truth, not what'll feel good. Yeah. They will call you out on your stupidity. Ben, that means called out.
Ben, that means you're one of my best friends. You tell me I'm stupid every day. Sometimes unrequested, Ben will be like, "You're a dumbass." Do we have a hard stop at 5:30? Is that what, Brendan?
We have
me. I'm good. I'm good till 6, I think. So that is if we have that much hot Patrick Rothfuss content.
Oh no, we could jabber about this one. It was well done. It was well done. I don't know if I've got another 29 hours in me to take another journey. But I will be. Maybe we could cycle this back in the new year and start going back to the series we started and do the next stage in the chapters, except for Akatar, because I don't really want to hear that much.
Perhaps what we could do is we could ask the audience what they want us to read, and perhaps that could steer us.
All right. I will this week.
There's a brief moment where I'm like, he's joking about to tell me that was the stupidest thing he's ever heard.
No, I'm all about it. We got a wonderful suggestion for the Black Prism.
Yeah.
By Brent Weeks. Ben and I loved it. I would have never read that book.
I had never heard of it until that suggestion was made. Yeah.
And it is fantastic. And we will be looking through it. And we've got Shadow's Grace follows us and subscribes and is very active. Got a bunch of great ideas. I'm all about that. I'll put a poll out on social media. We're going to do it through Instagram. See what you guys think we should be looking at next. I'm all for it. I love the idea. I am going to take a shot in the dark. Try a book series I have not read. Called the Iron Druid Chronicles. First book is called Hounded. It's an urban fantasy. I specifically Googled it to make sure it's not one where they're like, I'm a wizard and I'm fucking a succubus. So I don't really want.
There's an entire genre of those.
Yeah, I know. And I have checked. And I'm married to the biggest fangirl of them. So every time I'm like, what book should I read? It's called The Warlock's Thrust. No, thank you.
Is there a shirtless man on the cover? Got to make the cover check.
No, this has got a guy holding a sword, and I'm like, all right, I read the synopsis. It's a $2 buy from Kindle, so like we're probably, even if it does suck, it's not going to be bad. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go and see if it's going to be anything. Look at Ben. Ben's look on his face is like, Kvothe already. We could just read that.
Can we read the Infinite and the Divine every week?
You're muted.
He's muted. He's muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
I said Kvothe is way better than Infinite and the Divine, let's be real. But
everyone knows you're a green skin, Ben.
Yeah.
Go faster.
Every time we paint,
I'm not lying. I actually ran through my my Warhammer books and was like, what should we read? Like,
No, we ain't doing Kvothe until Missy comes back.
No, Missy is going to adapt to having the baby.
Okay.
And get settled. She may join us for this one. It is urban fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed away from the Dresden Files because I know them intimately, and I wanted to try something. I wanted to try something a little bit that I haven't done. I like the surprises. The cool thing about doing this book talk is I try a lot of books that I will not read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pick up some of these books, and some of them I truly enjoy. Some of them I've been surprised by. Foundations sucked hot ass, and then was phenomenal. the latter half. It came so far out.
Holster's weapon, right?
No,
What did you say?
I was so irritated. The first one, it was a blast start, and then the second chapter, you're like, okay, this is annoying, and then it just took off to the races, and you're just like, the fuck just happened? So, because I finished it, I was like, this book sucks. And then right after the part where I was like, I really don't care for this, it just took off to the race, and I'm like, this is fantastic. And I like these pleasant surprises. I also have read other books that you were like, well, this was much worse than getting kicked in the dick. So I enjoy these journeys. And this book is going to run me.
Dick kicks.
Yeah. What is that one? Desperate Measures?
Yeah.
He didn't even see the book and he knew.
Yeah. But Old Man's War was ridiculous.
Oh, didn't you go and binge the rest of the series after that?
I'm through the second one.
Yeah.
I'm through the second book, but it's just some story, and I'm a story hound. I love stories. That's why I like D&D. You don't know how it's going to be, and there's no way to play the same game again. Mm-hmm. So you get a different story. So every now and then we get these, and they're great. This story I honestly was rolling my eyes at the beginning, being like, this is going to be some snot-nosed, know-it-all kid from a wealthy, weird family who's going to come and just kick ass everywhere. And you're like, ugh.
It starts out feeling like a lot of fantasy, magic school books. And then it just subverts those expectations. And,
nothing is more annoying than the kid that's like, oh, what's magic? I don't know anything about it. And then he picks up his first book and now he knows everything. And you're like, fuck you. That was one of the problems I had with when I would watch. That's the feeling I got when I would watch Merlin. I love Arthurian legends. But you watch Merlin and they're like, you're a wizard. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'm a dragon lord. Everybody knows what I can do. Don't show them, they'll kill you. Shut the fuck up. He just tripped and fell and could do shit. And you're like, how did this go on for 5 seasons? And I like the struggle. And fucking Kvothe struggled with everything. He was academically brilliant. And everything else, he just could not get it right. Any moron should know, ancient books, no light so sunlight won't get it done. I'm going to take a candle in here. You fucking idiot. Anybody should have known that.
Maybe I shouldn't mess with the guy that's the noble's son that may or may not be the third in line for the kingdom.
Right. But instead he's like, no.
And then he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, he literally just shamed the guy in front of this girl. And then he's like, I'm going to go into the archives now. And he's like, will it cost money? He's like, oh, I'm poor. This fucker would question everything everywhere.
Yeah.
He would ask questions about everything. And then when Ambrose was like, it's an unbelievable amount of money to borrow this land.
Fair, it was established that he was basically coming down off of fucking
Yeah,
morphine.
I get that. But
yeah.
He was I get the perfect.
It's every time every time you think he's going to learn and realize that Ambrose is going to fuck with him, he doesn't.
Yeah. No.
Every time
not at all.
you learn that every time Ambrose shows up on screen, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. And they said, and Ambrose has got, he is a creature of privilege, not kind of privilege. And Kvothe just cannot understand that you don't fuck with wealth and privilege when you don't have the same clout to bear. The only time there was actually a level setting of being listen, I'm not the one to be fucking with, is when he called the name of the wind.
Yeah.
At the end of it and beat the snot out of him.
And then, what?
Yeah. That's the only time where he's like, I don't think you know who you're fucking with. Because up until that point, Kvothe is essentially just the smart kid who likes to tell everybody to fuck off. And Ambrose is not understanding why no matter what he says, this kid doesn't do it. And he's got this steel spine where he's got to keep bouncing back up every time he's pushed down.
Yeah.
And it does show a lot of
well, that's what's interesting. It's Ambrose finally gets him, but then like he's able to like he's like, I learned how this trial system works after my two like journeys in it, and then I figured out that all the rules that I could accuse Ambrose of, so I could like, if I'm taking you down, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, sort of thing.
I love that. I want to see where it goes, because I don't feel that this is going to end.
He doesn't go for any lashes on Ambrose. He's like, I just want him suspended.
Yeah. I think, like in the Harry Potter Draco Malfoy, at the end, they're like, we are friends in the way that old rivals have grown up. I don't think that's going to happen in this one. I don't feel at the end they're going to be like, remember when we fucked with each other?
Well, it's even said that, like, it's even hinted that Ambrose eventually tries to kill him. Yeah.
I also cheat and look at some of the other information, mostly because I wanted to see what the Dracus looked like, which was the coolest dragon ever. It's a dragon that is a herbivore that knocks down plants and gets stoned. That was awesome. But
that like is a herbivore that it only eats wood, which powers its fire breath, so that it can eat more wood and rock.
That's a cool fucking thing. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to die. It's a dragon. And they're like, it's a tree-eating dragon. What?
You were like, wait a second. It's a tree-eating dragon that found drugs.
Yeah, a drug tree. A tree with an addictive resin, and he ate the entire grove. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it was, but it is. It's a very interesting way of looking at it, because it does, this much more takes you through what it would be like of you being the very talented kid with you can't go home and ask your dad. You're like, Dad, this girl did this. You can't do any of that shit. He's got nothing. He's got a drunk pervert and an old guy who's like, that sounds like what his friends are. His friends like to drink, and the one's like, there's girls over there.
No.
We all had that friend.
He's a drunk, a pervert, and an old guy.
Yeah. And we all had that one, like, one of my
No. He's got a drunk pervert. He's got a drunk pervert, a perverted drunk, and an old guy.
Yeah. No, the cynic. There was the one was the cynic. Was it Sims? Sims was the one that was like the girl chaser, right?
Right, but he like never actually like gets anywhere. So he's like,
no, never.
But he gets like drunk with the other guy off of like 2 beers.
Yeah.
So like that's why I say there's a drunk pervert, a perverted drunk, and then an old guy.
Yeah. So, well, the old guy just kind of like pops in and just bitches.
He's like, fuck.
Yeah, you don't work too hard, they'll make you do it again tomorrow. You know, like. So, I mean.
Let me show you how things actually work around here.
Right.
Don't
work
too hard.
Yeah, you've got to get a B. That's the best way. They won't fuck with you if you get straight B's. You know?
Hey, the nail that stands out gets hammered down.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing is what's funny is all 3 of them have these unique perspectives. Like his other 2 friends, Sims and what is it, Wadlow or Watson? I don't know.
There's like the one guy that's from a merchant family.
Yeah.
That's getting basically paid to be there to be educated. He's not really like looking to be in the Arcanum. Then he has this other guy who's like all about like honor, and he's I think Scottish adjacent. Yeah. And who's like a prince or like some sort of noble.
Yeah.
That's like
then
constantly running out of money.
Because he keeps hounding it and he's a shitty gambler.
Yeah, he like just basically spends it all on booze and hoes and gambling. And then but also like still wants to be in school.
Yeah.
And then
it's like they're all there for a reason.
Yeah.
But they're not, you know? Like Willem is his name.
Yeah. Willem.
And he's the one it's so fascinating that, and none of these people are anybody you should take advice from like at any point in time.
But at the same time, if like Kvothe took some of their advice, he probably would have been better off. Like, stay away. Like, if they all agree, if all 3 of them agree on one thing, listen.
Yeah, then listen to him. Like, all 3 of them were like, "Stop fucking with Ambrose." She's like, "Fuck with him more." Excellent.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, "No way." He's like, "Leave that bitch Denna alone. Go talk to Fella. She's been making moon eyes at you for like weeks. And he's like,
yeah, and
right. I'm going to go to town and look for Denna and skip class.
right. And then, because it's funny, like, Fella is described as being very smart.
Bombshell, like.
Yeah, and, like, even to the point, like, it was described when she woke up and was just had her blanket wrapped around her that she was disturbingly well built. She studies artificing, mathematics, and naming. So she's also in Loden's class.
And it's also suggested that it's also shown that like she's so head over heels for him, even though he's like 5 years younger than her, that she will break the rules of the university and risk expulsion for him.
Yeah,
and he's still like, I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, he's like, that's cool. I'm gonna actually go for Denna, who Denna's like, I would give you the time of day, but there's rich penis over there. You know, like
I have to be somewhere else.
Anywhere but around you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be waiting. Like, I don't know. It's just he definitely is strongly displaying attachment disorder. Like, he is 100% like anxious attachment disorder. What's that? Person, oh God, they're the only person I've ever thought of. Fucking calm your shit.
Yeah, but then his friends, he like ignores them for like weeks at a time. They're like, hey, we were supposed to play cards last night. And they're like, oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah,
and then they're like, you were looking for her again, weren't you? And he's like, yes. He's like, and then he's like, basically grabs him by both shoulders and is like, stop! Stop being so horny. We'll take you to a brothel, damn it.
There is that discussion, too. There are hookers.
Yeah. You could probably find one that looks like her.
Yeah, you could go find a hooker. That would be pretty cool. So it was. He painted a very, very beautiful picture of a very clear picture of a world of. That you could literally feel like walking, like you were going back to school, except learning some wild shit instead of studying psychology and business.
I think it's like interesting because it's also a world where like magic is very important to how the world works, but
you need rules.
But it doesn't like, but the world doesn't like revolve around the world can exist without the presence of magic.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of times where you have these fantasy books where there's a magic college. Like, that's the only way for, like, that the world exists. It continues to, like, function is by, like,
because
the stuff
of magic,
that, like, the magic does. You know, like, we read The Dark Prism, and, like, basically the world, if all of, like, the drafters in that world, like, were to, like, just drop dead, the world would cease to function.
Yeah. And that,
but like in this world, it's like, oh yeah, like so basically, like we can keep like subsistence farming and stuff, but like if the magic college were to burn down and all the magic people were to die, it's like, like we'd lose some like modern conveniences, like we wouldn't have like lamps anymore.
They did teach engineering.
Yeah,
they did teach engineering and they did teach chemistry, and so like there were some actual science.
Yeah, that was what was interesting. Was like all the magic worked off of like scientific principles. It was almost like what's the missing like link between like physics and chemistry or whatever.
It was that what is it?
What's the alchemy between
sympathy was that alchemical link between chemistry and I like that. I like
they even covered that like if you were rich, magical alternatives to products were better, but there were cheaper ways that you could do things.
Yeah.
So
by just like using science.
Yeah.
It was the world was it was a plausible world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of these high fantasy worlds, you can't really imagine yourself in them. But like this school just does have it where like you could imagine being in these classes. You could imagine going to the bar after school, or you could imagine going to watch musicians fight and sing bawdy songs You know, you can imagine the smelly city. You know, we've all been at places like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he created this world that, yeah, there's a little bit of magic here and there. And except for the one batch of super weirdos with Master Elodin, like that was where the Namers is where the real magic happened. You know, like where you got the stuff that defied like sense and sensibilities.
And I also think there is like a lot of this book was like set up for the next one.
Oh yeah,
so, like there's like references to like how the Magic College works. There's references. There's like the church is vaguely referenced throughout, especially in the Tamarin.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see where that goes.
So
to,
I feel like that church part was like built up to like be more, and I think it'll become more important later because I hesitate to like draw conclusions, but it's almost like the Kvothe is supposed to be like an incarnation of like elite, the god sort of person. Is almost like I feel like what's.
Oh God, I hope not. That would be terrible.
All right, maybe not. We're like something that it feels like they draw a lot of parallels between like his story and like the story of like the god and stuff like that, or this ancient king. But
yeah,
like I said, like we learned enough, but we're still like, what else is going on here? Because like we have this whole chambering thing, we have this whole religion thing. There's all kinds of stuff. We still don't fully understand how magic works here. But
yeah. So, all right, we are coming up on time.
Yeah, I think we're basically kind of ran our course on here. So
we did. Well, we can keep going. I think this is such a good book that we can. We are going to take a risk and try something new. We're going to read Hounded by Kevin Hearn, the book 1 of the Iron Druid Chronicles. Hopefully it'll be good.
H-E-R-N.
Hearne, urban fantasy. So, I know nothing about this, so let's see. It's got a 409 on Goodreads.
We're all going in blind this time.
We're all going in blind. Except for Brendan sitting there being like, silly bitches, I am Kevin Hearn.
No,
that's my pen name.
That's my pen name.
I've never read it. I promise.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for watching.
I'm just glad you guys liked it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good. Maybe give us a warning.
So we kind of like ran all over you the whole episode. I feel like.
Oh no, that's just excitement. I'm like the proud dad being like, oh.
This is like when we did Old Man's War and like you were like super excited about it, Joel. I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back on tomorrow with our next installment of Candle Creek Mysteries. And again, a reminder, we'll be doing an extra session of Call of Cthulhu on Saturday, led by Brian. And we're very excited to do that with original GM and have our little collaboration again. So
that is fun.
Don't forget to check us out on our social medias if you haven't already. We'll try and keep things updated about next episodes and all that stuff and reminders and things. And again, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.